Little update on the village's health system. Patient demanding pain medication at the village's hospital was arrested. Villager sues Costco after an employee allegedly hits her with a shopping cart. Couple in the village is sued over repeated refusal to correct out-of-compliance landscaping. The PWAC eyes a $1.04 million contract on pond maintenance merry-go-round. The cops are looking for an elderly golf cart driver that was involved with a hit and run with his golf cart at Publix. Proud moment as ground is broken for new $20 million Paradise Recreation Center. ICE slaps a hold on 2 more illegal immigrants in the villages. A resident on the historic side of the villages was arrested after running a stop sign. There'll be no holes in ones to golf again this week. Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies are searching for an elderly man believed to have been driving a golf cart when he hit 2 vehicles at a Publix in the villages. The older white male was driving a red golf cart at about 3 p.m. Sunday when he hit 2 vehicles at Publix at Spanish Plains Shopping Plaza and left the scene, according to the sheriff's office. Images of him and his golf cart were captured on surveillance. Anyone who can identify the suspected golf cart driver or has any additional information is asked to call deputies at 352-793-2621. A couple in the villages is being sued over their refusal to correct deed restriction violations, their pattern of non-compliance, and the harmful impact their actions have allegedly had on the neighborhood. Attorneys for Briones and Briones, PA, filed the lawsuit on behalf of the village's Community Development District 10 against Michael and Mary Lou Maston in the 5th Judicial Court of Sumter County on July the 9th. The Mastons own a home in the village of Collier that has been the subject of ongoing deed compliance issues that began nearly 2 years ago. They are already facing more than $23,000 in fines. In August 2023, a complaint was lodged with community standards that claim the Mastons never received approval by the Architectural Review Committee for landscaping at the couple's home. The lawsuit claims that 2 deed compliance reminders were placed on the property in late September 2023. In October 2023, a 3rd written notice and photographs were delivered to the Mastons, reminding the couple of the applicable deed restrictions governing the property. And in November 2023, a 4th written notice was issued to the Mastons. On January 18, 2024, the home, which is located at 3357 Fountainhead Avenue, was the subject of a public hearing over its landscaping. At the hearing, the Mastons, who indicated that their landscaping had been in place when they bought the home in 2017, were given 45 days to file an application with the ARC. The couple never filed that application, and as a result, the villages began imposing $50 daily fines on the property. Bradley Krause, a neighbor who lodged multiple complaints about the property, alleged during that February meeting that the Mastons never care about the fines and that the couple would likely allow them to accrue indefinitely. He called the couple a nuisance neighbor and an ongoing problem. As of July 9, the Mastons property had accumulated approximately $23,900 in fines, and as of August 29th, that amount has likely passed $25,000. The daily fees does not include cost of a lien, attorney fees, or cost for the prosecution of the case, according to the lawsuit. The Mastons could be on the hook for all of those costs as well. The lawsuit cites the long history of the alleged noncompliance and repeated violations of the deed restrictions by the Mastons. It asserts that the Mastons property is in violations of several deed restrictions, that they have failed or refused to correct those violations even after giving multiple notices and deadlines, and that the property has reportedly been cited for tall weeds, lack of upkeep, and landscaping deficiencies, all of which remain unaddressed. Due to the uniqueness of real property located within District 10, along with District 10's obligation to enforce the external restrictions, monetary damages alone are insufficient to remedy the continuing violations, amended declarations, external restrictions, and the rule, reads the lawsuit. equitable relief, including the entry of an injunction, is required because District Number 10 has no adequate remedy at law. The property remains out of compliance to date. As such, the Mastons are allegedly liable for violating their obligations arising from ownership and control of the property. CD10 is asking a court injunctive relief to force the Mastons to comply with the deed restrictions. Also seeks recovery of attorney fees, court cost damages as provided under Florida law and community covenants. I don't really feel like making comments on any of the news today, but does this make any sense to anybody for a property owner to be like this? A resident on the historic site of the Villages was arrested in a golf cart with a suspended license and a pipe in his pocket. A deputy saw 56-year-old David Murley Pope in a tan Yamaha golf cart running stop sign on the way out of the Coconuts Internet Cafe Arcade parking lot, located at 13747 U.S. Highway 441 in Lady Lake around 12:10 a.m. Tuesday, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The deputy subsequently stopped the vehicle at Northeast 86th Drive and Northeast 136th Avenue. Pope was hesitant to hand over his driver's license and asked if he could be let off with a warning. He advised that he did not have a license and it had not been valid for most of his life. When asked why he was driving, he stated he was picking up a friend from the Internet Arcade. He was still asked to step out of the golf cart, at which time he was detained in handcuffs. He hesitated to give his name and date of birth as well, saying he had a warrant for his arrest. A criminal history check revealed Pope had multiple prior convictions for driving while license suspended and narcotics-related offenses. It also confirmed he did not have a valid license, only an ID, the report said. A search of his persons followed and yielded a glass pipe with white and black residue inside the right pocket of his shorts. It tested positive for methamphetamine, a report said. Pope was arrested on charges of driving while license suspended, second and subsequent offense, and drug equipment possessed or use. He was transported to the Sumter County Detention Center with a bond set at $2,000. The Michigan native was also arrested in January for drugs found during a traffic stop and in July of 2024 after leading police on a chase in the golf cart. They never learn. It was a proud moment as ground was broken Thursday for the new $20 million Paradise Recreation Center. District government officials and the Amenity Authority Committee used ceremonial shovels for the groundbreaking for the new recreation center on the historic side of the Villages. In May, the Amenity Authority Committee awarded a $16.3 million contract for the construction of the new recreation center. The total cost of the project, which calls for the demolition of the recreation center and a total rebuild, including the swimming pool, is $20 million, which also includes design services and engineering. The rebuild will include a resort-style swimming pool, an expansion of the Mark Twain library space, a fire pit, and 6 shuffleboard courts. An 87-year-old villager has filed a lawsuit against Costco, claiming she sustained significant personal injuries after she was allegedly struck by a cart being pushed by an employee. Attorneys Representative Elizabeth Pastor filed the lawsuit against Costco Wholesale Corporation in the 5th Judicial Court in Lake County on August the 20th. Pastor, who resides in the village of Bridgeport at Lake Meona, claims she was visiting the Costco located at 4600 Kalina Terrace in Claremont on December the 4th, 2024. During her visit, Pastor alleges that she was struck by a shopping cart being pushed by an unknown Costco employee identified solely as Jane Doe in the complaint. You're not going to get anywhere with this lawsuit. Pastor's attorneys argue that the employee was not acting as a reasonably safe and prudent employee should act, and that the employee create an unnecessary hazard with the method of handling shopping carts. What employee? Jane Doe? The law alleges that the responsible employee gave no warning before allegedly crashing into Pastor's body, and that the employee failed to render aid afterwards. That's a legal problem there, too. As a result of the alleged incident, Pastor claims she suffered bodily injury resulting in pain and suffering, disability, disfigurement, permanent and significant scarring, and the loss of capacity for the enjoyment of life. She claims she has incurred hospital expenses, medical and nursing care, and treatment, and a loss of earnings, among other losses. You don't really want to know what I'm thinking right now at all. Pastor alleges the losses are either permanent or continuing in nature. She is seeking more than $50,000 in damages, exclusive of cost, attorney fees, and interest. Costco opened a location in Claremont in 2023. Earlier this month, the company celebrated a grand opening of the first Villages Costco. A patient who demanded pain medicine was arrested at the hospital in the Villages. Joseph Paul Bouchard, 59, was at UF Health Spanish Plains Hospital on Wednesday where he was complaining of leg pain, according to the arrest report of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. He refused treatment, but he continued to demand that he be given pain medication. Because he refused treatment, he was not admitted as a patient and was asked to leave. He began causing a disturbance. Deputies were called to the hospital to explain to Bouchard that he needed to leave the premises or he could face arrest. He still refused to leave. When deputies attempted to take him into custody, he pulled away and would not cooperate. Bouchard was searched after he was taken into custody and found to be in possession of methamphetamine. Bouchard was arrested on charges of possession of methamphetamine, resisting arrest, and trespassing. He was arrested in 2023 after firing 3 shots in the air at a local Circle K. He was placed on probation as a result of that incident. The new arrest was considered a probation violation and Bouchard was booked without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. I'm not going to read all this because I did 4 days worth of news about the bankruptcy into Village and Health. You'll have to go see that video if it's still up because as you all know, my account got stolen and I've lost everything. 20-some thousand subscribers. I've lost it all. I'm starting over. And mentally, I'm just not up for it right now. I'm just not. 2 executives with the Villages Health could see the remaining value of their contracts assigned to a buyer of the bankrupt medical group. The Villages Health chairman of the board, Elliot Sussman, and CEO Bobby Trin, each are apparently owed $130,658 on their remaining contracts. The amounts were included in the filing with the U.S. Bankruptcy Court in Orlando. In the ongoing saga of the bankrupt health provider that was introduced nearly 15 years ago to bring a Marcus Welby model of medicine to the Villages. Sussman, who was integral in the conception of the Villages Health, has been paid $1.260 million over the past 12 months as the chairman of the board. Sussman bought a home in the Villages in 2011 for $1.2 million. He still owns it. Trin, I guess I'm saying that name right. Trin had been paid a total of $1.6 million over the past year, including a $200,000 retention bonus on July 2, the day before the bankruptcy announcement, which included a soothing letter he sent out to patients. Meanwhile, Dr. James Bashong, a doctor who was invited to practice at the Mulberry Grove Care Facility, but later claimed that his workload multiplied when the physician ranks began thinning out at his office, apparently has an outstanding contract of $953.12. He had been promised an annual compensation of $230,000 when he was hired. The court documents seem to indicate that the successful bidder for the assets of the Villages Health would be picking up the outstanding contracts and be responsible for writing a check to pay them off. The bid deadline for the assets of the Villages Health is set for September 3, with the potential sale announced on September 9. The Villages Health is hoping to close on that sale early October, and that's the latest information that I've got. A project-wide advisory committee is set to approve a $1.4 million bid for pond maintenance from a company it fired 2 years ago in a price dispute. PWAC members will consider the proposed bid from Solitude Lake Management when it meets at 8:30 a.m. Tuesday at Seabreeze Recreation Center. In 2023, PWAC members balked at the $247,000 increase sought in its existing contract with Solitude Lake Management, LLC. The increase would have raised the price of the work to $825,948. It would have represented a 40% increase in the price of treating ponds south of County Road 466. Instead, it reached an agreement with Cross Creek Environmental in hopes that it would be receiving improved pond maintenance at a more competitive price of $661,205. However, there had been complaints about the conditions of the ponds throughout the Villages, and Cross Creek soon began to fall from favor. New bids were sought as residents' complaints grew louder. In a recent bid tabulation, Solitude rose to the #1 ranking, while Cross Creek fell to #5. Thus, a return to Solitude appears to be in the cards. The summer heat tends to worsen the problem with algae at ponds. Runoff of fertilizer from nearby homes can make matters worse. Community Development District 1 tried the old school approach to the pond by having to bring in carp to munch away at the unwanted vegetation. The carp have not yet had a desired impact. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement placed a hold on an unlicensed North Carolina man who admitted he was not a citizen of the United States. Deputy observed 36-year-old Francisco Javier Garcia Bautista driving a gray 2011 Toyota Sienna van with only one working headlamp in Wildwood around 10:20 p.m. Wednesday, according to the arrest report from Suffolk County Sheriff's Office. This led to a traffic stop at the intersection of Main Street and Kentucky Avenue. When asked for a driver's license, Garcia Bautista stated he had a passport but not a license. He never had one before, saying he was not a citizen of the United States. He then handed over the passport, which was used to confirm this information, the report said. Garcia Bautista was arrested on charges of operating a vehicle without a valid license. Second conviction, the native of Honduras was transported to the Sumter County Detention Center, where a bond was set at $500 and ICE placed a hold on him. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement put a hold on an unlicensed driver from Mexico who was stopped without a driver's license on the way to a job. A deputy stopped 34-year-old Victor Miguel Angel T. Saran in a green Toyota Tundra on County Road 48 in Center Hill around 11:05 a.m. Monday, according to the arrest report of the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office. What looked like paint made the license plate illegible. T. Saran told the deputy he did not have a driver's license or legal documents. He had taken the chance on driving due to the urgency of a job that needed to be finished, the report said. A check of his driving history confirmed he did not have a driver's license. He had never applied or been issued one. Tia Saran was arrested on a charge of operating a motor vehicle without a valid license. The native of Mexico was transported to the Sumter County Detention Center, where a bond was set at $250 and ICE placed a hold on him. A project-wide advisory committee is set to approve a $1.4 million bid for pond maintenance from a company it fired 2 years ago in a price dispute. PWAC members will consider the proposed bid from Solitude Lake Management when it meets at 8:30 a.m. Tuesday at Seabreeze Recreation Center. In 2023, PWAC members balked at the $247,000 increase sought in its existing contract with Solitude Lake Management, LLC. The increase would have raised the price of the work to $825,948. It would have represented a 40% increase in the price of treating ponds south of County Road 466. Instead, it reached an agreement with Cross Creek Environmental in hopes that it would be receiving improved pond maintenance at a more competitive price of $661,205. However, there had been complaints about the conditions of the ponds throughout the villages, and Cross Creek soon began to fall from favor. New bids were sought as residents' complaints grew louder. In a recent bid tabulation, Solitude rose to the #1 ranking, while Cross Creek fell to #5. Thus, a return to Solitude appears to be in the cards. The summer heat tends to worsen the problem with algae at ponds. Runoff of fertilizer from nearby homes can make matters worse. Community Development District 1 tried the old school approach to the pond by having to bring in carp to munch away at the unwanted vegetation. The carp have not yet had a desired impact. I'm only going to do one letter to the editor today, because I just don't have it in me to do any more. To the editor, I was a little shocked and in fact appalled by the detailed letter explanation of why disabled golf cart drivers should not park in disabled auto parking spots. What in the world is wrong with disabled golf cart drivers parking there? There are almost always extra parking spaces available for a disabled, and why are the disabled operators of golf carts less entitled to them? It is really puzzling to me why a couple of people wrote letters detailing why this should not be legally done, which is, to me, is crazy. I am willing to defend any disabled golf cart driver with an appropriate placard who parks in a spot for disabled automobile drivers. Please get a life, you objectors. That's sent in by Dave Murray, the Village of Tall Trees. I'm going to respond to that because I did a video about that once. The problem, Dave, is we're 3 counties here. The villages ain't just the villages. We're 3 counties. Each county has their own rules about simple things like this. 10 years ago, when we went and got our handicap Florida license plate, because we came from Indiana, we got that. While I was there to fill out paperwork out to get that license plate, I asked about the golf cart, because at that time, being new down here, we intended to use the golf cart for full-time driving or a lot. And I wanted to be able to have that handicap sticker for Sue because she is handicapped legally. I was told by Sumter County at that time that they did not offer handicap stickers for golf carts, nor did they offer any kind of a handicap license plate or anything else. So I said, well, what do they do? She said, well, a lot of people just take their handicap sticker if they have one on the mirror in their car, and they put that in their golf cart. And I said, is that legal? She said, technically, no. So the police will not acknowledge that because each sticker has an identifying number on it, and that tells them what vehicle that sticker is assigned to and for what reason. So I'm not doing that. I'm in a retirement community. I don't want to get arrested for doing stupid stuff. So Sumter County does not offer a sticker for golf carts. Now, you'll have to check if you live in Lake County or Marion County and find out what their rules are about that. Now, I do know if you have golf cart handicap stickers up there for golf carts in those counties, if you drive them down here, Sumter County has to honor them. I asked. They have to honor them. But 10 years ago, Sumter County did not offer any handicap placards of any kind for golf carts. Is that fair? I don't think so. I think they should have them. I mean, we are a retirement community, or we used to be. I'm not sure we are anymore. When you have a retirement community of elderly people, why would you not offer things like that? It just don't make sense to me at all. But it's the law. That's the argument there, Dave. It's the law. So you can't park there. And if you're parking in a striped area, I don't care what color it is, black, white, blue, green, red, if it's a striped area, that's a nationwide law. You're not allowed to park there legally. You can't park there. And when you have somebody that has a handicap van that's got a ramp on the side, you realize those striped areas there next to the handicap area, parking areas, that's for those vans that has a ramp to allow a wheelchair to come out of that van. And when you park your golf cart there, they can't open that up. They can't get back in or get out. I mean, you are in the way. You are breaking the law. And I think that's the argument. People are parking in those striped areas right there. So, they need to really quit doing that because that's really can inconvenience some people really seriously. And they'll have to park way out in the parking lot somewhere. Hopefully nobody will park next to them to be able to get in and out of the van. Or if it was me, here's what I would do. And I really wouldn't care who I pissed off either. I would get in one of those spots, take the van, get my ramp out. If you can shut the door, that's the thing. I don't know about these things. But if you can shut the door and lock it, I would leave my ramp out there. I wouldn't put it in just to make sure nobody could block me. That's what I would do. But anyway, that's the law, Dave. You just can't willy-nilly and decide I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. There's always repercussions to these things. I'm trying to look at what you're saying. What in the world's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. It's just against the law. So, I believe in the letter of the law. There's almost always extra parking spaces. Well, if there is, then why is the people that's parking in the handicapped places with their golf carts, why don't they park in those extra places? See, you're saying let them park there and let the people that got handicapped license plates that could legally park there, but now they can't get in there, let them go look somewhere else. I don't understand any of that. It's really important why people wrote a letter detail. What they're writing about is people parking in the striped areas next to the handicap. That's the big argument. Now, like I say, 3 counties. Every county can be different with these rules on these little things like this. I think Sumter County should have a sticker that we can get for handicap parking on your golf cart. I think you should have to prove it. If you have it for your car, prove it. If you got a doctor's letter, take it with you. I think you should have to prove that you do have the handicap problem. And they should have something like that. Like I say, it is a retirement community, or supposed to be, and these kinds of things should be available for us, but it don't seem like it is. But I do appreciate your letter. I love it when I get a letter that I can kind of defend and yet kind of educate people at the same time. Thank you. Okay, everybody, let me finish this up kind of a weird way. I know I don't have anything going on back here. I got the computer back. Everything's working okay, it seems like. I'm going to try to finish up this news. I did this news earlier, and right here toward where the letters to the editor started, and that's about where the computer took a crap, and I couldn't finish it. So I'm going to finish it up, get it up as soon as possible. Patreon's going to get it first, and then I think I still got YouTube members. I will put it there, but I'm going to make one more request real quick. YouTube members, move over to Patreon. I beg you. It's cheaper, you get more there, and it's less work for me. So if you would, please. And that way I can close the memberships out on YouTube, and I'm not going to do them there for a while unless I have to. I'm not going to do it. I don't figure on doing them at all, but I will maybe later if things change, but right now, no. And I know people talk about the credit card thing. I don't think that's an issue, but that's totally your decision. I'll respect it, whatever it is. With that, I just want to say I thank my sponsors for sticking with me. I had a new sponsor. You'll see the picture of the lithium battery in the closing scroll, the thank you scroll. I still have to get that up. I'll get that up right after I get done doing this. I got to add some new names. Thank you, new Patreon members. I appreciate it. And we'll try to do better next time. We'll try to get things out better. I've got a lot of news here that I've been saving that I couldn't do because. And I will get that started, get that edited. I got some more Jose and me running around in a piece of shit one, and I'll get that up on Patreon in order if I can. And I got some other stuff I want to do. I can't promise you anything on when anything's going to come up. I usually post Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Hopefully I'll get something done for Monday. No guarantees. I'll just do the best I can do. By the way, anybody that's got a suggestion for the Villages channel that you want to see, because I'm just not getting the views on the videos I put up on Monday. I'm only averaging 2,000 views on a Monday. That's not near enough. So what do you want to see? I don't know what you want to see. I'm guessing all the time. I've done 2,000 videos of everything in the Villages there is to do. Installation of the bridges, houses. I've done more home tours here, I think, next to a real estate person than anybody. So I'm running out of ideas what you want to see. Or you just want me to do random things, I'll continue doing that too. But if the views are really down significantly, and I need to get them up if I can. And so the best thing is, I'm asking your help. What do you want? So G1RUMP2Y. Send that suggestion. I want to see a this or a that or blah, blah, blah. And I'll do my best to get that video up for you if I can. But I want to see them views go up too. If they don't go up, I'm not going to do them. I hate to sound that way, but that's the way it is. Thanks all the subscribers. Thanks all the followers. Thanks for your patience for all the trouble we've been going through here. And thanks for all my sponsors. You got the Medicare expert over here. You got IRA, the real estate company, over here. You got Nova over here. So those are the sponsors that I've got so far. The lithium battery companies, I got to get a hold of them again. I've sent them 3 emails. I haven't got a response. So if you're watching this, please go to your email. I've sent you several. I'm trying to get back to you. I don't have your phone number to call you. So I got to get a hold of you. The other sponsors that I've been working on, I pretty much threw them in the trash. I'm not going to do business with them. And with that being said, I'll just say, be well, take care, be safe, be aware.
And I'll leave that key in that golf cart.
Coming up next, bad parking. Have fun with it. See if you can pick out what's wrong with each one of those bad parkers. See you on the other side. This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.